at least 17 U.S. military bases near Chinese-owned farmland, reportedly seeing a surge in drone activity and sightings in recent weeks.
We want to continue to talk about the mysteries in the sky. We're talking about the drone mysteries that are really prevalent across the Northeast, really all across the country.
The sightings happening near bases in Hawaii and installations in Utah, California, Maine, and Florida. House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Michael McCaul has been warning about the drones in focus these last couple of weeks.
That can't be the only one that China has. Coming into the U.S. less than 3 weeks. So really what we have here is the makings of a Chinese army, not in China, but in the United States itself. And the Biden administration is not tracking these people.
It's clear what's going to happen. We are going to get, and we're not taking the necessary precautions to protect these bases and to protect the American people.
When we're shutting down Air Force bases, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base gets shut down for a while. When commercial airlines are interfered with, they can't do their flight patterns because of these drones. That's weird. You can't tell me the government doesn't know what's going on here. And the fact they will not brief us, they will not level us with us, they won't answer questions in public, there's something really strange that's going on.
So, Senator, what I think you're saying is that Rosie could be right. They could be aliens.
Anything is possible.
Okay, if aliens are here, and I think throughout your hearings we've concluded that something is here, what are they doing? And maybe more importantly, why haven't they made contact?
Locally, one man has seen drones in the Metro East. Fox News' Patrick Clark joins us live with video you have to see with your own eyes. Patrick.
Yeah, that's right, Mandy. It seems apropos that we would be at the Science Center. We have Tom Friedman's Looking Up sculpture over my shoulder here. That's exactly what one man in Illinois has been doing. He's been looking up, and he caught some video with his phone that he's still trying to determine what exactly he saw. Take a look at this video that a viewer shared with us using his Galaxy S21 cell phone camera. He recorded this outside his home in Macoupin County, Illinois. The man, who asked that we not share his last name, narrates his video to best describe what he's seeing in early to mid-October and then as recent as Monday night. Whether these lights or drones are similar to videos that were seen from New Jersey is up for debate, but our Macoupin County resident says the UAPs would fly across the sky very fast in random patterns. He began recording and recounting what he's been seeing to his social media page, sharing with friends.
The last videos I took, Patrick, were last night. I started seeing the strange lights in September. I live in a rural area. I just started seeing weird light configurations, lights tailing each other, just some oddball things. So I just started following them around. No real optical equipment, just a cell phone. They were tailing each other, and I was seeing literally 50 different objects in the sky at night in October. It went from like early October till October 22nd, 23rd.
Tom says when he was observing the UAPs in October, they seemed to have almost a cat and mouse-like movements as if they were at battle. He stopped recording around November, but when he began watching the sky again in December, the drones, or UAPs, were more controlled in their nightly flights.
It just depended, just different lights. What I'm seeing now is not near the activity. They're more stable. You do see them every night. I seen, I think, 7 last night. I videoed them last night. They're more stable lights. They're white as they hover, and then as they start to move, they'll fire up with colored lights. They're red and a aqua colored, like a light green, I would say.
Yeah, so we as humans are learning more and more all the time. That term UFO is no longer used. It's UAP, which stands for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, but that even has been changed because it did not include underwater items. And so now it is still UAP, but it stands for Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena. Whether you call it a drone, a UFO, or UAP, it's still some unanswered questions for you and me.
But they have seen things they just cannot explain. A sheriff's lookout drone tethered to the ground captured this video.
We had something coming at us, and as it's coming at us, it stops, it does like a 180 in the air and then drives away, and then comes back and does like a giant U around us. So that's not normal for aircraft.
So this is really happening?
We think so. It's definitely something that whatever we're seeing, we can't figure out what it is.
It's about the drones over New Jersey. I saw this drone. There was one over my farm. I don't want to sound paranoid that they were looking at me, but I looked at it. It looked at me, and then all of a sudden it took off. Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
The government is insisting, don't worry, it's nothing. Yeah. P.S. We don't know about it. And nobody believes that the government doesn't know about it.
No, we really, we were really, I mean, where we are in this country as Americans, and I don't care what Democrat, liberal, whatever you want to be, no one really believes the government.
The bottom line is that civilian drones don't fly in controlled U.S. airspace over restricted areas. They're not supposed to. We're seeing a rash of this. I have videos on my phone from Andrews Air Force Base, Langley Air Force Base. I wish the Pentagon and this administration would be consistent with their messaging, because all it's doing is turning people really away from trusting their government at a time, by the way, where trust is already at a historical low.
Okay. All those drones over New Jersey. What's behind all of that?
Nothing nefarious, apparently. But they're checking it all out. I think it's just one. There's a lot of drones authorized up there. I think one started and they all got it. Everybody's wanting to get in the deal. But we're following it closely. So far, no sense of the danger.
And that was President Biden commenting last night on the drones flying over the Northeast. His administration claiming that out of the 5,000 plus sightings, fewer than 100 deserved an investigation, and that none present a national security or public safety risk. What about those 100 that need an investigation?
Well, I think Chairman McCall's a smart guy, and when you look at the possibilities out there, they could be an adversarial set of drones out there. They could be U.S. government drones, as we've heard, sniffing, so to speak, for radiation, and they could be, something otherworldly. So let's discount that and look at the two main possibilities.
But I tell you what worries me is the fact that these are over our military installations, and let's not ever forget that this administration allowed a Chinese spy balloon to fly across the entire continental United States, did nothing about it, and now they won't level with us about this. I think it's a big problem, Jesse.
I do too. But I have no idea what they are. It doesn't sound like you do either. And no one's telling anybody. So I'm just going to go with Rosie. And that's pretty bad.
As far as the second part of your question, that's a little more complicated. This is a topic that's been going on now in the U.S. government. Your taxpayer dollars have been paying for serious study for the last 70 years into the topic of UAP, or what was once known in the vernacular as UFOs. Right. This is all the while, and this is one of the reasons why I don't trust the Pentagon, because I was there. The whole time, the Pentagon was telling people UFOs are silly, UAP are silly, there's nothing to see here. We're spending millions of dollars of taxpayer money with the consent of the Department of Defense to investigate none other than UFOs. And exactly what's happening here. You have an air flight safety issue. In some cases, these UAP were getting so close to combat formations, they were literally splitting the combat formation down the middle. So Think about that for a minute. Two F-18s flying in a combat formation, and these things splitting the formation right down the middle. My concern with these drones is right now, Rob, is that you have this schizophrenic approach within the U.S. government, and they're hoping at this point anything that will stick to the wall will work. And this is why they had a private conversation with the House Intel Committee. Notice how they didn't do it publicly. They just said, we're going to have a private conversation. This is after days and days and weeks of saying, folks, we have no idea what's going on here.
And there's multiple of these orbs in our sky tonight, right here in Powell.
Another Delaware County caller saying he saw them over the roundabout on Sawmill at Bunty Station Road.
It looked like a UFO or something, then it turned its lights off and disappeared.
Moving pretty fast.
More Delaware County neighbors seeing the drones. These folks got video.
That's a drone.
And these people in Hilliard claim they saw the drones as well and caught something more. A loud boom. Then 15 seconds later, another. What is going on?
Drone sightings spreading across the country now. Officials confirmed that unmanned drones have been spotted recently near Hill Air Force Base in Utah. Now, information on the number of drones that were spotted, how close they flew to the base, hasn't been widely or publicly released.
They're monitoring the airspace and working with local authorities to track the drones. Though they won't share details, they say appropriate safety measures are being taken. Hill Air Force Base adds drones are not allowed on base.
Good evening. New unexplained drone sightings in Utah have led to fresh concerns here.
It's a question that continues to grow here about a series of sightings on the East Coast. News specialist Andrew Adams spoke with a couple of Utah eyewitnesses and an expert as well tonight.
Well, the people we spoke to characterize these encounters as anything from really weird to scary. And keep in mind, they happen at opposite ends of the Wasatch Front, West Haven down to Mapleton.
Look, there's 4 of them.
And now in Utah.
What are those?
Eyes are also turning to the skies with unexplained sightings of groups of drones from Mapleton to West Haven.
Big, bright thing in the sky.
Air Force brass confirming to us that small unmanned aerial systems were spotted between December 13th and 14th. None of the incursions impacted base residents, facilities, or assets. We are taking all appropriate measures to safeguard Wright-Patterson and its residents. But the Air Force is not talking about what the objects were or where they came from. We asked state leaders about it. Ohio's Attorney General didn't seem too concerned.
Do our community members in Ohio need to be worried, right, Pat, even, closing their airspace due to this issue?
I have no idea.
To have hundreds of drones, forget the idea that there's thousands, but even hundreds of drones flying in an area that is likely near controlled and restricted space, and they're not able to see the registration number, does not make a lot of sense to me. Because to get a waiver, you need to put your license and registration. The registration has to be on the drone where you can see it. So they should be able to go right to the owner.
I think you just made this all more bizarre for all of us.
I know, I'm not helping it.
Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are putting new pressure on federal security agencies to get to the bottom of the mysterious drone sightings. There was another sighting this morning in Texas.
It's unclear exactly what this is, but it's causing folks in southeast Texas to scratch their heads.
I started seeing multiple lights moving across the sky. I've never seen anything like that.
On an otherwise quiet Wednesday night, Cheryl and Dave Bowman spotted what looked like drones flying in their area off the coast of the Bolivar Peninsula. You can see the small objects' bright colored lights flashing in these videos they shared with us, moving toward the refineries and sparking their interest and speculation.
We would be curious, what would they be doing in that pattern and flying that way and that far from the Gulf over into that, what we think is a strategic area.
They weren't alone in that thought. Their Facebook post showing the mysterious objects causing discussion across our area.
We wanted people to know, because you keep hearing about New Jersey, and now all of a sudden, they're not just in New Jersey.
You and I talked this morning. I mean, our conversation is probably very much like the conversation all over the country, like what is going on? You happen to have some pretty in-depth knowledge, though, about these drones. And I know the big thing I took away from our conversation was, why do they need to be up at night?
Yep. So, Sandra, I'm going to make this very easy for your viewership. So let's first talk that a lot of the space is restricted and controlled. So if you are near an airport, you have to be not within 5 miles without a waiver. You can't be over populated areas. You can't be near a stadium like the Meadowlands without a waiver. You can't be near military bases without a waiver. So first, many of these commercial drones have to be getting waivers because you're between Newark, Teterboro, MetLife. There's a lot going on there.